Hey, happy Monday, everyone. Hope you are doing well. It is the start of a new week. Today is Monday, March 23rd, 2026. It's the last week of work before spring break for me. So, as you know, I'm a teacher and we're going to go on spring break. Next week, we'll be on spring break. So, it's the last week before we go on spring break. And this is In the Raw, unscripted, unpracticed, unedited conversation. And I have a question. I don't know if it's a question that you've asked yourself, but it's a self-reflection question. Who am I? Seems kind of simple, right? Seems kind of obvious, maybe. But who am I? Have you ever asked yourself that question? Have you ever asked yourself who you are? I remember when I was a kid, I used to ponder and think, and I didn't necessarily ask the question, "Who am I?" But I asked myself, "Why was I born in this family? Why was I born in this time? Why was I born in this country? You know, why wasn't I born in another country, halfway across the world?" I used to think those things when I was a kid. Why wasn't I born to a different family? And it's kind of the same type of question. You know, it's very, self-reflective. It's a rhetorical question. But I think every human being needs to know who they are. I think everybody needs to know who they are and where do they stand. And if you've asked yourself this question, who am I, and if you don't have a definitive answer, then you're facing an identity crisis, and that is very prevalent in this time. A lot of people are facing identity crisis. I see it all the time. And the issue of identity is a complex problem for many people. From the moment we are born, and as soon as we reach the age of reason, we attempt to resolve it. And the first thing we tend to do is look for heroes to emulate. You see, when a person is unsure of who they are, they try to imitate others whom they perceive as successful. They're kind of aligned to what they prefer, what they think, what they like. It's like assembling a jigsaw puzzle using pieces from different puzzles when you are looking at other people. It's unlikely that anything productive will result from this. You can't build a puzzle with pieces from a different puzzle. This is how many people have failed to develop a genuine personality. It is as if they were living with borrowed traits, ideas, and purposes. The question remains, who am I? Really, who am I? Someone once said, "You are three people: the one you believe yourself to be, the one others think you are, and the one God knows you are and can become through Christ." That's what I want to talk about in the next few videos. You see, the Apostle Peter makes a statement that answers this question, who am I? And clearly, he answers it clearly and without a doubt. 1 Peter 2:9 says, "But you are a chosen generation, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, his own special people, that you may proclaim the praises of him who called you out of darkness into his marvelous light." What should matter the most to us is what God says about who we are. So I'm going to share a few things based on this verse I just read of who we are, who God says who we are. And God tells me that I am a chosen generation. I'm part of a chosen generation. In other words, I am a child by adoption. John 15:16 says, "You didn't choose me, I chose you." One of the characteristics of adoption is that Parents choose their children. The word adoption comes from the Latin adoptare, a compound word formed from ad and optare, which signifies the act of choosing. God has chosen you to be his child. However, there's a condition for becoming his child. It says in John 1:12, but to all who received him, there's a condition, all to who received him, to those who believe in his name, that's part of the condition. Receive and believe. He gave the right to become children of God. The word generation is related to lineage, and it refers to the line of ancestors and descendants of a person. That is, a family to which someone belongs. We all belong to a family, to a surname or last name that identifies us. Our identity is based on our lineage or family name. When God adopts us, our lineage or our family takes his name. Paul tells the Ephesians that every family, both in heaven and on earth, receives God's name. That's in Ephesians 3:15. So we are privileged to be chosen by God to be his children. And I love how I love how 1 John 3:11, can't read this morning. 1 John 3:1, it reads, see what great love the Father has lavished on us, that we should be called children of God. And that is what we are. The Father has lavished great love on us. He has poured it out on us. He has given us an identity as children of God. We've been adopted by him. That's why we are a chosen generation. We have been chosen by God. Even before we were born, the Bible says that he chose us. He's chosen you and me, and all we have to do, there's no saying, oh, I'm not part of the chosen one. That's why I'm far from God. No, everybody has this opportunity. The only thing you need to do is to receive him and to believe in his name. That's what I read earlier, John 1:12. Those who received him and those who believe in his name, he gave the right to become children of God. So those are the only conditions, to receive him and to believe in him. And if you do that, then you are part of a chosen generation. You are a child by adoption. That's what God says. That's who God says I am. It's not who I say I am. It's not who others say I am. It's who God himself says I am. I am part of this chosen generation. That answers the question, who am I? And we're going to continue answering this question in the next few videos. So we will talk to you in the next one and continue seeing what God says about who we are. All right, I hope you have an amazing day, and we will talk to you soon.